He was born a vassal king in a rugged, semi-arid land, but he would die as the King of Kings. He inherited a kingdom of farmers and shepherds, but he would forge the largest empire the world had ever seen, spanning over 2 million square miles at its peak under Darius, and eventually 5.5 million. Yet he did not conquer with fire and terror alone. He wielded a weapon far more potent: loyalty. This is the story of the man who bent the ancient world to his will, the fearsome army that made his name immortal, and the birth of the world's first true superpower. This is the rise of Cyrus the Great and the Achaemenid Empire. In 559 BCE, a prince named Cyrus II ascended to the throne of Anshan, a small tributary kingdom in Persis, modern-day Fars province in southern Iran. At the time, the dominant power in the region was the Median Empire, ruled by his own grandfather, King Astyages. The Medes were Iranian cousins of the Persians, but they treated the Persians as inferiors. Cyrus paid tribute, but he also watched. He learned. According to the Greek historian Herodotus, writing about a century later, Astyages had a dream that his grandson would one day overthrow him. He ordered the infant Cyrus killed.
Kill Cyrus.
But a loyal servant named Harpagus, unable to commit murder, gave the baby to a shepherd to raise.
Raise him well.
Years later, when Cyrus discovered his true identity, a bitter enmity was born.
Tribes, we are scattered, but strength is one.
The rise of the lions had begun. Whether legend or fact, the result was real. In 550 BCE, Cyrus led a rebellion against the Medes. At the Battle of Pasargadae, named after the city he would later build, Cyrus's outnumbered Persians faced the Median army. But Harpagus, whose own son Astyages had murdered, turned his Median forces mid-battle. The Median king's army collapsed. Astyages was captured, but Cyrus spared his life. By 549 BCE, Ecbatana, the glittering Median capital with its 7 concentric walls of different colors, had fallen. But Cyrus did something unprecedented. He did not loot or enslave. He married a Median princess, adopted Median court customs, and integrated the Median nobility into his new Persian identity. He became King of Kings, not by erasing his enemies, but by absorbing them. This swift rise sent shockwaves across the ancient world. Across the Halys River to the west lay the fabulously wealthy kingdom of Lydia, ruled by King Croesus, a name that has become synonymous with unimaginable riches. Croesus had been allied with Astyages. Fearing the new Persian threat, he consulted the famous oracle at Delphi, who famously told him, "If you cross the Halys River, you will destroy a great empire." Croesus assumed the empire was Persia. He was wrong. In 547 BCE, at the inconclusive Battle of Pteria in central Anatolia, Croesus fought Cyrus to a standstill. Neither side could claim victory. Croesus, confident that winter would force Cyrus to retreat, withdrew to his capital Sardis and disbanded his mercenary forces, sending them home until spring. It was a catastrophic miscalculation. Cyrus launched a brutal winter march across Anatolia. He moved his army through snow and freezing rain, using local guides to find mountain passes the Lydians thought impassable. He caught Croesus completely off guard. At the decisive Battle of Thymbra, Cyrus faced a Lydian army that Xenophon, the Greek historian and soldier, claimed numbered nearly 400,000, a likely exaggeration, but certainly a large force. Cyrus had perhaps 20,000 to 50,000 men, but he had a secret weapon: psychological warfare. He placed his baggage camels, animals the Lydian horses had never smelled, at the front of his formation. When the Lydian cavalry charged, the horses panicked, reared, and broke formation. Into that chaos, Cyrus unleashed his chariots and his elite infantry. And then, the hammer fell. The Immortals. The Greek historian Herodotus gave these elite Persian warriors their famous name, Athanatoi, the Immortals, because their corps was never allowed to fall below 10,000 men. If one was killed, wounded, or fell ill, another was immediately promoted from the reserves. The enemy never saw a gap. They faced an unbroken line of flawless, golden warriors. Each immortal carried a short spear with a silver counterweight, a bow with cane arrows, and a short sword or dagger. Their wicker shields were covered in leather and could stop most arrows. They wore heavy scale armor over linen, and their heads were protected by a metal helmet often covered in gold or bronze. They were not just infantry. They were shock troops, palace guards, and the king's personal instrument of terror. Against this relentless force, Sardis fell after a brutal 14-day siege. But the manner of its fall is legendary. According to Herodotus, a Persian soldier noticed a Lydian warrior descending a secret, unguarded path in the citadel's cliff wall to retrieve a lost helmet. That night, a detachment of Persians climbed the same path, scaled the walls, and opened the gates from within. The legendarily wealthy King Croesus was captured. Cyrus spared his life, and Croesus became an advisor to the Persian court. Lydia, the richest kingdom in the West, was absorbed into the new Persian Empire. Its gold and silver would later fund the first true imperial coinage, the daric. With Lydia conquered, Cyrus turned east. Over the next 8 years, his armies pushed into Central Asia, securing the vital Silk Road trade routes. He subdued the nomadic Scythian tribes and established frontier cities like Syropolis, modern-day Tajikistan. By 540 BCE, the Achaemenid Empire stretched from the Aegean Sea to the borders of India. Only one great power remained: Babylon. When 539 BCE, Cyrus turned his gaze to the last great prize, Babylon. At the Battle of Opis on the Tigris River, his Persian army annihilated the Babylonian forces led by King Nabonidus. Then something remarkable happened. The Babylonian capital, with its supposedly impregnable walls and a year's worth of food, threw open its gates to Cyrus without a fight. Why? Because Nabonidus had alienated the powerful priesthood of the Babylonian god Marduk. He had neglected the city's primary religious festival, the Akitu, and had promoted the moon god Sin over Marduk. Cyrus saw his opening. The twist is this: Cyrus the Great was one of the first conquerors in history to win as much with compassion as with the sword. Rather than looting and destroying Babylon, he presented himself as the chosen liberator of Marduk. He walked through the gates in peace, laid wreaths at the temple, and restored the gods that Nabonidus had abandoned. The Cyrus Cylinder, an ancient baked clay artifact discovered in 1879,
records his edict in Akkadian cuneiform. It reads in part, "I return to the sacred cities on the other side of the Tigris, the sanctuaries of which have been ruins for a long time, and I established for them permanent sanctuaries." This policy of tolerance was his ultimate weapon. He famously allowed the Jewish people, held in Babylonian captivity for nearly 50 years, to return to their homeland and rebuild their temple in Jerusalem. The Hebrew Bible calls him God's anointed, the only non-Jewish ruler ever given that title. But Cyrus's genius went beyond religion. He introduced a revolutionary administrative system, the satrapy. Each province, satrapy, was ruled by a governor, satrap, who answered directly to the king, but local customs, languages, and laws were preserved. A network of royal inspectors, the eyes and ears of the king, made surprise visits to prevent corruption or rebellion. To tie this empire together, Cyrus's successor, Darius the Great, built the Royal Road, a 1,600-mile highway with 111 relay stations, each with fresh horses and riders. A message could travel from Susa to Sardis in just 7 to 9 days, an astonishing speed for the ancient world. By the reign of Darius, 522 to 486 BCE, the Achaemenid Empire covered 5.5 million square kilometers, from the Balkans and Egypt in the west to the Indus Valley in the east. It ruled over 44% of the world's population at the time. No empire before had ever been so large, so diverse, or so stable.
Cyrus the Great died in 530 BCE during a campaign against the Massagetae, a nomadic tribe east of the Caspian Sea. The warrior queen, Tamiris, whose son he had killed, reportedly beheaded him and dipped his head in a skin filled with human blood, saying, "Drink your fill of blood, for which you thirsted." Whether true or legend, his tomb at Pasargadae bears a simple inscription: "O man, whoever you are and wherever you come from, for I know you shall come. I am Cyrus, who founded the empire of the Persians. Do not grudge me this little earth that covers my body." History is full of decisions that seemed right in the moment. Where do you stand on this one? Was Cyrus a benevolent liberator or a brilliant propagandist? Can tolerance ever be a weapon of empire? Let us know in the comments. If you're hooked on uncovering the strange truths of the past, join us next for The Revenge of the East, Iran versus Rome, where the heirs of Cyrus faced the legions of the greatest empire of the West. Hit subscribe so you never miss a revelation.